Hello, and welcome to April May Creations, the channel dedicated to all things creative. My name is April Sittler, and I love to create. So whether you're here for a little inspiration, or you just want to see what I've been up to, thank you for joining me. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you'll be notified when each new video arrives. I also feature many of my creations in my Etsy store, April May Creations US, for those of you who like to watch but prefer to pick out a finished product. I can't wait to show you what we're going to do today, so come on, let's get started. Hello everyone! What I'm going to do today is show you a little bit of how I organize my stamps and dies. They can come in various sizes and different types, and it can be hard sometimes to figure out how you want to store them so that they're easy to access. One thing that I do is once I get in a new set of stamps or dies is I put them into an Excel spreadsheet that I created so that I have the name of the stamp or die, whether it's a stamp or die. Then I put the company where it's from, I give the name of it, and then I indicate, how many dies are in the set. So I know, like this one is a flower that you make, but sometimes you can get, like this one is a decorative circle frames, and so it has various circles. So I will actually list out each one so that if I'm looking for a 1-inch circle, I know which sets have that in it. A 1.5-inch circle with a scallop, etc. So I do that for me because it really helps me in the spreadsheet get really quickly to finding which stamps or dies I have that will work for what I'm doing. Now this is what the finished product looks like. I'll give you an idea. So I have these clear sleeves. I'm currently using the Avery L brand, and I get these off of Amazon. And I do the 5.5 by 7 3/8 inch pockets because they're usually just a little bit bigger than what I need. So I usually do list my stamps first if they come in a matching set. I'll do my stamps first and then I'll do my dies behind them, and that's how I store them, because generally if I'm going to use this butterfly, I'm also going to want to die cut the butterfly. So I put these together like this. So I just use a plain little label maker for this, and if I'm doing a bunch at a time and I know I'm going to have a whole sheet of labels, then I'll just type them into an Excel spreadsheet and I'll print them out and then just glue them on this way, which makes it a little faster. The other thing I typically do with my dies, which I haven't in this case yet, is I also have a magnetic sheet. So I'll take my dies and I'll put them on a magnetic sheet to place here in the back. But I haven't used these as of yet, or enough that it warrants me doing that. So I just haven't got the magnetic sheet in there yet. But as you can see, it makes it really easy to find them. It keeps them protected. And then I cut off the front cover to put in here. And if I don't have one, I'll just go on the internet and search for a picture. I'll print it out and then I'll put it in here so that I can see pretty easily, again, what's also in the collection. So what I generally do is also give it a backing. So behind, like I will take this this image, if you will. This just happens to be the front cover of the packaging that this came with. I will cut it off and then I'll use double stick tape to put it on. But I want to put it on something a little sturdy that will slip in and out of the sleeve really easily. And I'm just using some heavyweight cardstock. This I got at Hobby Lobby. It's a Paper Studio product. I happened to get this one on sale, which was really nice. And because these sheets are 8.5 by 11 and the openings of the pockets are 5.5 by 7 3/8, that it's really easy to cut out 2 per sheet, and then there's just a little bit extra that I don't need. So it really saves a lot on the paper too. So I really enjoy that. It works really good as a base. And then I wanted to tell you a little bit about the magnets I get. So the magnetic sheets I found that the most helpful are Marietta Magnetics. This is a sheet. This is how they came packaged. And so it's a magnetic sheet that is actually sticky on the back. Now, I don't tend to use the sticky on the back, so if you can find them without it, that's fine. I think for some reason, this is just what I got the last time because I couldn't find it without the adhesive on the back. But you can cut this either with your paper cutter or a pair of scissors, and you can have it match the dies that you need. So for example, here's a set of Sizzix dies that I have where I just used the front of the package it came in again. I labeled it, and then behind that card stock I put a piece of magnet, and I cut it for, I lay the images down, the dies down on the magnet, and then I just cut it for the size that I need it. And then that way they stay in place and they're not all falling down to the bottom of your package. And then you can just take out the whole sheet. You can remove one or two, whatever you need. You can use it, you can put it back. And these, I bent it so that fell off. But so these just stay adhered, which is really nice. And this magnet I like because it's just the right weight where it does keep them attached if you don't bend it. And so they're just not falling around everywhere. So that's what I found. And I still have a lot left, as you can see, so I haven't used very much. So these magnets do tend to go a long way. And I keep all the little scraps of the magnets because you never know what you might need a little scrap for. But I just got these off of Amazon, if I didn't mention that already. So some of you may be interested in how I store my stamps and dies. And I stole all my ideas from my friend Carolyn. She has an amazing way of organizing all of her crafting supplies, and she's the one who gave me the idea for the spreadsheet. The only difference is she stores all her stamps together and all her dies together unless they're sets, and then she stores both in the same location. But otherwise she has an area for her stamps and then an area for her dies. I decided I was going to put all of mine together because my collection for the moment is pretty consolidated. And so she had these bins, they're actually utility drawers, probably under the sink drawers that you can get from Bed Bath & Beyond. She wasn't using them anymore, so she let me have them. And they were perfect to fit in my little 4-compartment cubby that I got from Walmart. And they're perfect for storing my stamps and dies. I can tell you from my experience, it took me a long time to find an actual opening of the container that would physically store a 5x7 size item. So just make sure you measure the inside space of whatever you want to organize them in, because they will say, for example, they're 8x7 or 8x6 or something, but the inside, I found that's not the size of the inside of the space. So if it has a lid, the lid won't close over the top, and if it's a drawer like this, then things won't go in properly. So here's an example of one of the drawers. They fit on the shelf, and then I just used a little bungee cord, actually, that I ran all the way underneath to the back to bungee it in place so that it stays in place when I pull this out. And then I made the little signs using my Cricut. So if you want to learn how to do that in another video, just comment below. And so I also was able, I had enough room in these drawers, which was nice, that I could store these. But then in one of them, I had some of the long Sizzix Bigs dies that just don't fit anywhere else. And so I was able to fit them here in the side alongside of them in alphabetical order. And so that way I have a place to store those too. So I just did all of mine alphabetical, whether it's a stamp or a die. If I have a stamp and a die set, as I mentioned, then I store the stamp in front of the die. So for example, I have this set that's Be Happy. They're stamps and dies, and I just store them, the stamps in front and the dies in the back. And so all of these work really, really well. I was able to do, what I did is I just saw what parts of the alphabet fit in each drawer, and then I made the signs afterwards. So there wasn't any specific rhyme or reason to A through E. It's just how my set distributed evenly within the 4 drawers. And actually I had to get a 4th. I tried to do it in 3 drawers, but I had to get a 4th. And that's just how it worked out. And then I think one other thing worth mentioning is in this drawer where I have the last set of mine, I have a few of these other Sizzix dies that are bigger as well. And so again, they're a little bit hard to store sometimes. But what I did is I put them alphabetical order, but I was able to just slide them in between the stamps and dies so they just fit in like everything else. But they just fit inside with the dies themselves. So I really found these drawers, based on what I had in my collection, I really found them the best storage for my needs. And so you can take a look at your collections and see if that makes sense for you too. Now there were a few dies that didn't work in my other organization area, so I wanted to show you what I did with those. Now when I wanted to organize my stamps and dies, what I did is I looked at my friend Carolyn's system, and hers was really, really awesome. I had some things in my collection though that weren't going to fit within that structure. And so I kind of sorted, I got a couple of big tables and I just kind of sorted everything out. So I tried to put things in like size piles, because the ones that would fit in the system with the 5x7 sleeves and the ones that wouldn't. And what I did with the ones that wouldn't is I took a look at those and I saw what kind of category they fell in. Now these binders I love. I love bright colors anyway, but these binders are from Queen & Company. They're a company out of San Diego, California, and they have a lot of embellishments and stamps and dies, and they do a lot of shaker cards. So they have a line of products that you might want to check out when you get a chance. But what I found is I had some groupings of dies that wouldn't quite fit in the other system. So when they sell the binders, they also sell these organizational sleeves. And so they have these that are 2 per page. They have these that are 1 per page. And then they have a set that are 4 per page. And I use those for my embellishments, which I'll show you in another video. But what I found is all of the ones, even though some of these would have fit in with the 5x7 sleeves, I noticed that I had a group of stamps that were a lot of backgrounds, right? So this is the background to a card. Both of these are. This is a background stamp of trees. And so I took all my backgrounds and I put them together. And I noticed, fortunately, that they fit into the binder, into these sleeves and into here. So I have 2 binders of backgrounds. And then another group of those were borders and edges. And so I found a bunch of borders and edges, and they fit in here, so I put those in here, and then all my borders and edges are all in here. And these were especially long. So I was very excited to see that these edgeabilities from Spellbinders would actually fit in these, this length of sleeves. And so here are all my backgrounds. So I have two borders and edges. These are my borders and edges. I have two binders of these, and I decided to do those in the orange binder so that I can find them easy. And then I had some unique card and box templates. So Sizzix has a cute line of card and box templates where you can make the entire card with one set of dies. And so this is what it looks like. And so I thought it would be really nice. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different ones of these. And so I thought it would be fun to put these in a binder of their own, so that if I needed a card template where it actually made the base of the card or the box, that I could have those all in one place. And so I put all of those in the yellow binder. And then I also found that I had some sets of nesting frames and shapes. So I have, for example, these trees that nest together. I have these flower, cloud, or just outline shapes. I've got this fun little curved framelit, outside framelit. I've got these nesting frames. I've got these here. And so it was really nice, again, I think, to keep all of these together, because sometimes when you're looking for a particular, maybe an outline to something, you want to see all the sizes together. And so that way I wouldn't have to sort through in alphabetical order where all of these were. Not that I couldn't have organize them under nesting frames and shapes, but because I had these binders, it just made it really easy to organize them. So I have a couple of red binders with that. And then my Heartfelt Creations stuff was something that needed, for me, I felt, a specific organization. And so they had these really pretty pink binders, which goes perfectly with their color. They unfortunately don't have these anymore. Hopefully they'll get them back in stock, but they were sold out the last time I checked. But when you are doing flowers with Heartfelt Creations, you've got sets of stamps and dies, and then you have coordinating stamps and dies. So, for example, this is how you'll make the small sweet peony flower. It has a stamp and a die, which I put together in the same package. But then it has the large sweet peony stamp and die set. And then sometimes you will have other embellishments or die sets to go with them. So like the new Magnolia series has a couple of sprays or arch covers. And so I wanted to be able to store the entire Sweet Peony collection together. And then here's my poinsettia and holly cluster collection that I stored together. So I felt that it was important for me, because when I'm making flowers, I want to be able to pull out again the entire set of all of this, because I may want to do several sizes of flowers and also use the coordinating embellishments. So an example of that was for the petunias. So the petunias, you have the classic petunia, large and small flowers, the small flowers and the large flowers. But then it also came with a coordinating set called Classic Petunia Bouquet. And in this set, it had some little clusters, a little spray, a little hanging flower basket. And so again, if I want to work with petunias, I wanted to be able to store all of these together so that I would be able to pull out the entire collection at one time. And this made it really easy for me to do that. And also it enabled me to store them in their original boxes a little bit more, so I had to do very little setup with these. So to try to make them fit into the other bins, this just really worked out much better for me. So I hope you enjoyed me walking you through my way of organizing the stamps and dies in my collection. Hopefully you've gotten some really great ideas and some inspiration. Again, where I started is I just looked at everything I had. I divided it into categories so that I could see what would fit in one type of organizational structure, and then what I may need for the other items. And so once you sit and you actually have exactly what you know exactly what you have, then you can look for what you need to help organize yourself. And if you need any help with that, message me below, or go to the April May Creations Facebook page and start a conversation there so that we can dialogue how the best way to help you organize your collection would be. I also have some membership levels on Buy Me a Coffee. You can find that link at the top of my YouTube banner. And in those membership, I have a GOAT membership, which is the greatest of all time. And in that, we use our time together in that membership to go into more detail for these types of things where someone needs a little extra one-on-one help. That gives me the ability and the platform to be able to share that with a group. So hopefully you found this helpful. Thank you so much for joining me today. Happy creating, and continue to be inspired. I'll see you next time on April May Creations. Thank you for spending time today with April May Creations. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and share it with people in your life who need a little creative inspiration to make something fun. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on April May Creations. I have a variety of videos for you to check out next, featuring handmade projects, secrets to stress-free crafting, easy organization, and so much more. If you are not the maker type, check out my Etsy store at April May Creations US, where I take custom orders and offer many of these finished products for sale.